6 months after the fire, Marcus was working at a construction site when he saw a familiar face. Robert Martinez had been a friend in high school, before life had taken them in different directions. Robert was a private investigator now. Marcus Reed. Robert stared at him in shock. "Man, I heard about what happened. I'm sorry." Marcus wiped the sweat from his face and shrugged. "Life happens. Listen, can we talk? I mean, really talk." They met that evening at a quiet diner on the outskirts of town. Robert ordered coffee and leaned forward, his expression serious. "I don't believe the stories I heard about you. The Marcus Reed I knew in high school was one of the most honest, hardworking guys around. People don't change that much." Marcus felt something crack inside his chest. It was the first time in months that someone had said they believed him. "Thank you," he whispered. "I've been working on something," Robert continued. "A case involving corporate fraud. And your former partner's name came up. Vincent Chun has been involved in some shady business deals. I think he's done this before. Partnered with people, gained their trust, then destroyed them and took everything." Marcus's hands clenched into fists. "Can you prove it?" "Not yet. But I'm close. The thing is, this case is bigger than just Vincent. There's a lawyer in the city who's been investigating a whole network of fraud. Her name is Sofia Torres. She's brilliant, and she's determined to take down everyone involved in this scheme." "Why are you telling me this?" Robert smiled. "Because I think you have information that could help her case. And I think her case could help you get your life back. You interested in meeting her?" Marcus didn't hesitate. "Absolutely. Meeting Sofia. The signs had been there all along. Marcus had just been too blind or too trusting to see them." Rock bottom. 3 months later, Marcus was living in a rundown motel on the edge of town. He had sold everything he owned just to pay a fraction of his debts. His truck was gone. His watch was gone. Even his wedding ring. He had pawned it for cash to buy food. The divorce had been finalized. Elena was granted full custody of Sarah. Marcus was allowed supervised visits once a month, but only after he completed anger management classes and passed regular drug tests. The court had believed Elena's lies. The community had believed them too. Marcus walked through the town square, and people crossed the street to avoid him. His former friends looked away when they saw him coming. The man who had once been respected, who had employed 30 people at his vineyard, who had donated to every local charity, that man was gone. Now he was just the crazy drunk who had burned down his own business and threatened his family. None of it was true. But truth didn't matter when lies were spoken loudly enough and often enough. Marcus took odd jobs where he could find them. He washed dishes at restaurants. He cleaned offices at night. He loaded trucks at warehouses. Every penny he earned went toward his debts or the small fund he was building to hire a better lawyer. He needed to clear his name. He needed to get his daughter back. At night, lying on the thin mattress in his motel room, Marcus thought about giving up. It would be easier. The weight of everything he had lost pressed down on him like a physical force. But then he would remember Sarah's face. Her smile. The way she used to run to him when he came home from work, shouting "Daddy!" with pure joy. He couldn't give up. Not while his daughter was out there, being poisoned against him by lies. A glimmer of hope. Marcus's mind flashed back. Yes, he had signed papers. Vincent had brought them to him during a busy harvest day, said they were standard renewal forms for their business license. Marcus had trusted him. He had barely read them. "What did I sign, Tom?" "You signed over 70% of the business to Vincent. And you signed documents that make you personally responsible for all business debts." "Marcus, the insurance policy on the vineyard. Vincent let it lapse 3 months ago. There's no coverage. You're looking at $2 million in debt and 0 assets." The world spun around Marcus. He gripped the steering wheel to steady himself. How is that possible? How did I not know? Vincent handled all the financial paperwork. You trusted him. Tom's voice was gentle but firm. There's more. Elena filed for divorce this morning. She's claiming you were abusive, that she feared for her and Sarah's safety. She has witnesses who will testify to seeing you drunk and angry. That's a lie. Marcus shouted. I never hurt them. I barely drink. I believe you, Marcus. But she's building a case. And with Vincent's money behind her, she can afford the best lawyers. They're going to paint you as an unstable, violent man. They're going to make sure you never see Sarah again. Marcus felt tears burning his eyes, but he refused to let them fall. Why would Elena do this? We had problems, but I thought we were working through them. She seemed happy last week. Tom was quiet for a moment. Marcus, I have to ask. Did you notice anything different about Elena in the past year? Any signs she might have been involved with Vincent? The question hit Marcus like a slap. He thought back. Elena had been distant lately. She had started taking more trips to the city for shopping. She had been protective of her phone. And Vincent had been coming to the house more often, even when Marcus wasn't there, claiming he was just dropping off paperwork. Marcus read the message 3 times before its meaning truly sank in. His fingers went numb. The phone slipped from his hand and clattered on the pavement. Marcus? What is it? Sheriff Davidson asked. But Marcus was already running toward his house, his heart pounding so hard he thought it might explode. He burst through the front door, shouting for his wife. Elena! Sarah! The silence that greeted him was deafening. He raced up the stairs, taking them 2 at a time. His daughter's room was empty. The closet stood open, half the clothes gone. In his bedroom, Elena's dresser drawers hung open like gaping mouths. Her jewelry box was missing. The photograph of their wedding day that always sat on her nightstand, gone. Marcus collapsed on the edge of the bed, his legs giving out beneath him. They were gone. His wife had left him. She had taken their 12-year-old daughter and run away with Vincent. And Vincent had burned everything to cover his tracks. The morning after. Dawn came too quickly and too slowly at the same time. Marcus sat in his truck in the empty parking lot of what used to be Reed Vineyard's main building. Now it was just a skeleton of blackened beams and smoking rubble. The beautiful tasting room where they had hosted hundreds of guests was gone. The production facility was destroyed. The storage building that held their entire inventory, thousands of bottles representing years of work, was nothing but ash. His phone rang. It was his lawyer, Tom Rodriguez. Marcus, we need to talk. It's bad. How bad can it get? Marcus's voice was hollow. Vincent cleaned out the business accounts. Every penny. He also had you sign documents last month. Do you remember signing some papers Vincent said were routine business updates? The ashes of betrayal. The night everything burned. The orange flames danced against the midnight sky like demons celebrating their victory. Marcus Reed stood frozen in his driveway, watching 20 years of his life turn to ash. The vineyard that his grandfather had planted, that his father had expanded, that Marcus had poured his soul into, all of it was burning. The heat pressed against his face even from 50 feet away, but Marcus couldn't move. He couldn't look away. The firefighters worked frantically, their hoses spraying water that seemed useless against the hungry flames. Marcus's hands trembled as he pulled out his phone and dialed his business partner's number for the 5th time. Vincent Chen, his best friend since college. The man who had stood beside him at his wedding. The man who was godfather to his daughter. The call went straight to voicemail again. Something's wrong, Marcus whispered to himself. His gut twisted with a feeling that went beyond the fire. This wasn't an accident. Deep in his bones he knew it. Sheriff Davidson approached, his weathered face grim in the firelight. Marcus, I'm sorry. The investigators think it started in 3 different locations. This was arson. The word hit Marcus like a punch to the chest. Arson? Who would do this? That's what we need to figure out. Do you have any enemies? Anyone who might want to hurt you? Marcus shook his head, his mind racing. His phone buzzed with a text message. Finally, Vincent was responding. But when Marcus opened the message, his blood ran cold. I'm sorry it had to be this way. The business is mine now. Elena sends her regards. She's with me. We're starting fresh somewhere new. Don't try to find us. V. 2 weeks later, Marcus stood outside a sleek office building in the city, feeling out of place in his worn jeans and faded shirt. This was Sofia Torres's law firm. According to Robert, she was one of the top corporate fraud attorneys in the state. The receptionist gave him a skeptical look when he asked for Sofia, but she made the call. 5 minutes later, a woman emerged from the elevator, and Marcus's breath caught. Sophia Torres was in her mid-30s, with dark hair pulled back in a professional bun and sharp, intelligent eyes that seemed to see right through him. She wore a perfectly tailored suit and carried herself with the confidence of someone who had fought hard for everything she had achieved. "Mr. Reed." She extended her hand. "I'm Sophia Torres. Robert Martinez spoke highly of you." Her handshake was firm and warm. Marcus found himself standing a little straighter. "Thank you for seeing me. I know you're busy. Let's talk in my office." The office was impressive. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city, shelves lined with law books, and a large desk covered with organized files. Sophia gestured for Marcus to sit and settled into her own chair with the grace of a woman who commanded respect without demanding it. "Robert tells me you have experience with Vincent Chan," Sophia began. "I'm very interested in anything you can tell me about him." Marcus took a deep breath and began to talk. He told her everything: the partnership, the trust, the betrayal, the fire, the stolen money, the lies. He expected her to look skeptical or bored, but Sophia leaned forward, taking notes and asking sharp questions that showed she was truly listening. When he finished, Sophia was quiet for a long moment. Then she opened a file on her desk and turned it toward Marcus. "Vincent Chan is part of a larger fraud operation. Over the past 10 years, he and his associates have destroyed at least 15 small businesses and stolen millions of dollars. They target successful family-owned companies, gain the owner's trust, then systematically drain the assets and burn the evidence, sometimes literally." Marcus stared at the file. There were photographs of other people who looked just like him, defeated, broken, destroyed. Why hasn't anyone stopped him? He's smart. He covers his tracks well. And he has money to hire lawyers who make his victims look crazy or criminal. Most of his victims are too broken or too poor to fight back. Sophia's eyes met his, and Marcus saw fire there. "But I'm not going to let him win. And if you're willing to work with me, we can take him down together. What do you need from me?" "Everything. Every document you have. Every email, every text message, every memory of conversations. I need you to help me build a timeline of how he operated. And I need you to be patient. This isn't going to be fast or easy." Marcus leaned forward. "I don't care how long it takes. I want my life back. I want my daughter back. And I want Vincent to pay for what he did." Sophia smiled, and it transformed her face from professional to warm. "Then let's get to work." The beginning of the fight. Over the next 3 months, Marcus spent every free moment working with Sophia. He dug through old emails and found messages he had deleted. He drove back to his old property and searched through the rubble, finding charred documents that somehow had survived. He contacted old employees and vendors, gathering statements and receipts. Sophia was impressed by his determination. She was also impressed by his intelligence. Marcus might not have a law degree, but he understood business, and he had an excellent memory for details. He could remember conversations from years ago, specific numbers and dates that helped Sophia build her case. They worked late into the night sometimes, ordering takeout and spreading documents across Sophia's conference room table. Marcus found himself looking forward to these sessions. It wasn't just about the case. Sophia was easy to talk to. She listened when he talked about Sarah. She understood his pain without pitying him. And she shared her own story. How she had grown up poor. How she had fought her way through law school. How she had dedicated her career to protecting people who couldn't protect themselves. "Why fraud cases?" Marcus asked one night as they packed up files. "You could make a lot more money in corporate law." Sophia's expression grew serious. "My father was a small business owner. A man he trusted destroyed him just like Vincent destroyed you. My dad never recovered. He died believing he was a failure." Her voice wavered slightly. "I became a lawyer so that other families wouldn't go through what mine did." Marcus felt a connection to her that went beyond their professional relationship. They were kindred spirits, both shaped by betrayal, both fighting for justice. One evening, as they were leaving the office together, Sophia touched his arm. "Marcus, I need to tell you something. This case. It's dangerous. Vincent has powerful friends. If he finds out you're working with me, he might come after you again." Marcus met her eyes steadily. "I'm not afraid of him anymore. I have nothing left to lose." That's not true, Sophia said softly. You have your future. You have your daughter's love, even if she doesn't understand that yet. And you have. She trailed off, then seemed to change her mind about what she was going to say. You have people who believe in you now. Marcus felt his heart skip. Was she saying what he thought she was saying? Before he could respond, Sophia's phone rang. She glanced at the screen and her expression changed. It's my investigator. He found something. She answered the call, listened intently, and her face grew pale. We'll be right there. She hung up and looked at Marcus. Vincent just purchased a property 3 hours from here. A vineyard. He's using your business model, your recipes, even your branding ideas. He's literally rebuilding what he stole from you under a different name. The rage that flooded through Marcus was almost overwhelming. But then he looked at Sophia's face and saw not just anger but determination. This is it, she said. This is the evidence we needed. He's gotten arrogant. He thinks he's untouchable. But we're going to prove he's not. The unexpected message. Late one night, Marcus was in his motel room reviewing documents when his phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. His heart nearly stopped when he read it. Dad? It's Sarah. Please don't tell Mom I'm contacting you. I found your number in her old phone. I need to talk to you. I know Mom said you did bad things, but I don't believe it anymore. Something's wrong here. Vincent scares me. Please, can we meet? Marcus's hand shook as he read the message 3 times. His daughter. His Sarah. She was reaching out to him. After a year of silence, after all the poison Elena must have fed her, Sarah still wanted to talk to him. He immediately called Sophia, not caring that it was past midnight. Sarah contacted me, he said when she answered. She wants to meet. There was a pause. Marcus, this could be a trap. Elena might be trying to prove you're violating the custody agreement. I don't care. That's my daughter. If there's even a chance she's in trouble, I have to help her. Sophia sighed. I know. Just be careful. And let me come with you. We need to document everything properly so Elena can't twist it against you. 3 days later, Marcus sat in a coffee shop 2 towns away, his leg bouncing nervously under the table. Sophia sat at a table across the room, pretending to work on her laptop but watching carefully. When Sarah walked through the door, Marcus almost didn't recognize her. She had grown so much in a year. She was taller, her face more mature. But her eyes, those were the same eyes that used to look at him with pure love. Dad! Her voice cracked. Marcus stood, fighting the urge to sweep her into a hug. He didn't know if he was allowed. Hi, baby girl. Sarah burst into tears and ran to him. Marcus wrapped his arms around her and felt his own tears falling. I missed you so much, he whispered into her hair. They sat down and Sarah poured out her story. Elena was miserable. Vincent was controlling and sometimes cruel. He yelled at Elena when things didn't go his way. He had even grabbed Sarah's arm once, leaving bruises when she talked back to him. Mom makes excuses for him, Sarah said, wiping her eyes. But I see what's really happening. And I've been thinking about everything that happened last year. Dad, did you really burn down the vineyard? No, sweetheart. Vincent did. And then he framed me for it. Sarah nodded slowly. I thought so. I found some papers in Vincent's office. Documents with your signature. But Dad, the signatures looked weird. Like someone traced them. Marcus's heart raced. Do you still have those papers? I took pictures. Sarah pulled out her phone. I thought maybe you could use them somehow. Marcus looked at the photos and felt his pulse quicken. These were the fake documents Vincent had used to steal the business. And they were clearly forged. Any handwriting expert would be able to prove it. He looked up at his daughter with pride. Sarah, you might have just saved us. But honey, if Vincent finds out you took these, you could be in danger. I don't care. I want to help you. I want the truth to come out. Sarah's voice was fierce. And Dad? I want to come home. To you. Marcus felt his heart break and heal at the same time. We're going to make that happen. I promise you, Sarah. I'm going to get you back. The choice. After Sarah left, Sophia joined Marcus at his table. Her expression was troubled. Those documents are exactly what we needed, she said. But Marcus, if we use them, Vincent will know Sarah helped you. That puts her at risk. Marcus felt torn. He wanted his daughter back. He wanted Vincent to pay. But he couldn't risk Sarah's safety. What do I do? He asked Sophia. She reached across the table and took his hand. The touch was warm and sent electricity through him. You have to decide what matters most. Revenge or protection? Justice or safety? Sometimes we can't have both. Marcus looked into Sophia's eyes and saw understanding there. She knew what it was like to want revenge. She also knew what it was like to choose the harder, better path. I choose Sarah, Marcus said finally. I choose protecting her over destroying Vincent. But that doesn't mean I'm giving up. It just means we need to be smarter. Sophia squeezed his hand and smiled. That's exactly what I was hoping you'd say. Because revenge destroys people, Marcus. But justice? Justice heals. And we're going to get justice the right way. As they left the coffee shop together, walking side by side into the evening, Marcus felt something he hadn't felt in over a year. Hope. Not just hope for justice or for getting his daughter back, but hope for something more. Something he saw in the way Sophia looked at him, in the warmth of her hand still holding his. Maybe, just maybe, good things could still happen to people like him. The morning sun streamed through the windows of Sophia's office, as she and Marcus spread out the evidence they had gathered over the past 4 months. The conference table was covered with documents, photographs, and timelines that told the story of Vincent's elaborate fraud scheme. This is incredible work, Sophia said, studying the timeline Marcus had created. You've documented every single transaction, every meeting, every communication. Vincent won't be able to explain away this pattern. Marcus felt a sense of satisfaction, but it was tempered by exhaustion. He had been working 2 jobs to pay his bills while spending every spare moment helping Sophia build the case. His body ached from the physical labor of construction work, and his eyes burned from the late nights reviewing documents. The problem is proving the signatures are forged, Sophia continued. Sarah's photos help, but we need an expert analysis. That costs money. How much? Marcus asked, though he was afraid of the answer. About $5,000 for a thorough examination by a reputable expert. Marcus slumped in his chair. He had barely $300 in his bank account. I'll figure it out. I can pick up extra shifts. Sophia looked at him with an expression he couldn't quite read. Marcus, I need to tell you something. This case. It's become more than just a professional assignment for me. Marcus's heart began to beat faster. What do you mean? I mean that I've been covering some of the investigation costs out of my own pocket. And I'm willing to cover the handwriting analysis too. She held up her hand before Marcus could protest. Let me finish. I'm doing this because I believe in you. I've watched you work tirelessly for months, never complaining, never giving up. You could have turned bitter and angry. But instead you've stayed focused and honorable. That's rare. Marcus felt his throat tighten. Sophia, I can't let you pay for this. You've already done so much. Then don't think of it as charity. Think of it as an investment. Sophia smiled softly. When we win this case, and we will win, you'll get restitution. You can pay me back then. When we win, Marcus repeated. You really believe that? I do. Because we have something Vincent doesn't expect. We have the truth and we have persistence. He thinks he's won. He thinks you're defeated. That's going to be his biggest mistake. As they continued working, Marcus found himself watching Sophia when she wasn't looking. The way she tucked a strand of hair behind her ear when she was concentrating. The way her eyes lit up when she found a new piece of evidence. The way she fought for him without expecting anything in return. He was falling for her. It terrified and exhilarated him in equal measure. The dangerous game begins. 2 weeks later, Marcus was at the construction site when he received a call from an unknown number. He almost didn't answer, but something made him pick up. Marcus Reed. The voice was smooth and familiar. Vincent. Marcus's blood ran cold. What do you want? I heard you've been asking questions about me. Talking to lawyers. Making accusations. Vincent's voice was pleasant, but there was steel underneath. I thought we should have a conversation. Man to man. We have nothing to talk about. Oh, I think we do. Especially when it concerns my stepdaughter. You've been contacting Sarah, haven't you? That violates your custody agreement. One word from me, And you'll lose even your supervised visits. Marcus's hand clenched around the phone. You stay away from my daughter. She's not your daughter anymore, Marcus. She's mine. Elena is mine. Your old life is mine. You need to accept that and move on. Stop this foolish investigation before someone gets hurt. Is that a threat? It's friendly advice. Walk away, Marcus. You've already lost. Don't make it worse. Vincent hung up. Marcus immediately called Sophia and told her about the conversation. He's rattled, Sophia said. That's good. It means our investigation is getting close to something important. But Marcus, you need to be careful. Vincent is dangerous when he's cornered. That night, as Marcus walked back to his motel, he noticed a black sedan following him. It stayed several cars back, but it was definitely following. When Marcus turned down a side street, the sedan turned too. When he stopped, it stopped. His construction work had rebuilt his strength. Marcus was no longer the broken man from a year ago. But he wasn't stupid either. He called the police and reported the vehicle. By the time the patrol car arrived, the sedan was gone. The next day, Marcus found his motel room had been broken into. Nothing was stolen, but everything was disturbed. Someone had gone through his belongings, searching for something. The message was clear. Vincent knew where Marcus lived, and he could get to him anytime. Sophia insisted Marcus move into the spare bedroom of her apartment. It's not safe for you to be alone, she said firmly. And before you argue about charity or propriety, remember that you're helping with my case. Think of it as protective custody for a key witness. Marcus wanted to argue, but he knew she was right. And honestly, the thought of being near Sophia, of waking up in the same home as her, made his heart race in a way that had nothing to do with fear. Growing closer. Living with Sophia changed everything. In the quiet evenings after work, they would cook dinner together, their movements around the kitchen becoming synchronized as they learned each other's rhythms. They would sit on her balcony, watching the city lights and talking about their lives, their dreams, their fears. Sophia told Marcus about her childhood, growing up in a tough neighborhood where ambition was often crushed before it could bloom. She told him about working 3 jobs to pay for law school, about the professors who doubted her, about the cases she had lost and the ones she had won. Marcus shared his own story in deeper detail. He told her about building the vineyard from near bankruptcy after his father died. He told her about falling in love with Elena, about the joy of holding Sarah for the first time, about the slow erosion of his marriage as success made him too busy and Elena too lonely. Do you still love her? Sophia asked one night. Elena. Marcus considered the question carefully. I love the memory of who she was. But that person is gone. Maybe she was never really there. I think I love the idea of what we could be more than the reality of what we were. And now? Marcus looked at Sophia, his heart pounding. Now I'm learning what it feels like to connect with someone who sees me for who I really am. Someone who fights beside me instead of against me. Someone who makes me want to be better. Sophia's breath caught. Marcus. I know the timing is terrible, Marcus continued. I know I'm still legally married, still broke, still fighting for my life. But Sophia, I need you to know how I feel. You've become the best part of my day. The thought of you is what gets me through the hard moments. And I hope you might feel the same way. Sophia was quiet for a long moment. When she spoke, her voice was thick with emotion. I do feel the same way. I have for months. But Marcus, we have to be smart about this. If Vincent finds out we're involved romantically, he'll use it against us. He'll claim I'm biased, that the case is personal, that our evidence is tainted. So what do? We wait. We focus on the case. We get you your life back, your daughter back, your reputation back. And then? Sophia reached out and took his hand. Then we see where this goes. Can you do that? Can you be patient? Marcus brought her hand to his lips and kissed it gently. For you? I can wait forever. Sarah's inside information. Sarah continued to contact Marcus secretly, always careful to erase her messages and call from borrowed phones. She provided valuable information about Vincent's daily activities, his business meetings, and his growing paranoia. He's been on the phone a lot lately, Sarah told Marcus during one of their brief calls, yelling at people about money. And Marcus, I heard him talking to someone about hiding assets. He mentioned banks in the Cayman Islands. Marcus immediately relayed this information to Sophia, who got her investigator working on it. Sure enough, they discovered that Vincent had been moving money into offshore accounts, trying to hide assets before the investigation could freeze them. This is exactly what we needed, Sophia said excitedly. Offshore accounts show consciousness of guilt. It proves he knows he's breaking the law. But Sarah's help came at a cost. Elena had become suspicious of her daughter's behavior. She started monitoring Sarah's phone and limiting her freedom. Sarah was essentially a prisoner in Vincent's house. Mom asked me today if I'd been talking to you, Sarah told Marcus during what would be their last secret call. I lied and said no, but I don't think she believed me. Vincent is watching me all the time now. I'm scared, Dad. Sarah, listen to me. If you ever feel like you're in real danger, you call 911 first and me second. Promise me. I promise. But Dad? I found something else. Vincent keeps a safe in his office. I saw him put papers in it, and I heard him tell someone on the phone that if anyone ever investigates him, those papers would burn just like Reed's Vineyard. I think there might be evidence in there. Marcus felt his pulse quicken. Did you see the combination? No. But the safe is a Sentinel Model 3500. I looked it up online. It has a digital lock. After hanging up, Marcus shared this information with Sophia. Her expression grew troubled. We can't break into his safe. That would be illegal, and it would taint any evidence we found. What if Vincent threatens to destroy the evidence? Marcus asked. Then we need to move faster. We need to give the authorities enough evidence to get a search warrant before Vincent has time to cover his tracks. They worked around the clock for the next 2 weeks, compiling everything they had discovered into a comprehensive report. Sophia prepared legal briefs and evidence summaries. Marcus created detailed timelines and financial analyses. Together, they built a case that was virtually airtight. When they finally submitted everything to the district attorney's office, they received an encouraging response. The DA agreed to investigate and said there was sufficient evidence to potentially seek search warrants. We did it, Sophia said, allowing herself a rare moment of celebration. We actually did it. Marcus pulled her into a hug, feeling her body pressed against his. For a moment they just held each other, both exhausted and exhilarated. When they pulled apart, their faces were inches away. Marcus could feel Sophia's breath on his lips. We should celebrate, Sophia whispered.